For those that don't know me, I love to platinum video games. I've so far collected 59 platinums throughout my PlayStation tenure. No, I haven't uploaded in a while, and I know it's pretty strange going from eating cereal with mayonnaise to ranking platinums, but hey, here we are. I've compiled a tier list today, and we're gonna go through all of them, and rank 'em. Sorry folks, Mike from the future here. My dumbass from the past didn't care to explain the criteria and the tier list. Top we have Blast. This obviously means I had a blast doing the platinum, didn't have any problems whatsoever. Going down we have Great, so of course I had a great time with it. Maybe some minor problems, but nothing too crazy. Then we go to Fun. I had a fun time with it. Might have a few gripes in here or there, but still a good time. And then we have Mediocre, so not a good time, not a bad time, just kind of in the middle. Then we have Grind, so not really a good time whatsoever. Took a lot of hours, took a lot of my time. Yeah, not fun. Speaking of not fun, the last one is Not Fun, which obviously means I did not have a fun time with it. And then we have in one below with Doesn't Count. There are a few that I've platinumed that don't count. Now, at first I was going by just the platinum experience, the trophy experience, but there is a bit of bias with some of the games, and you'll see that I kind of don't really stick to my rules just a little bit, but still I hope you enjoy. And yeah. So we're going to start off with the original God of War from 2005 on PS2. I had to use the game streaming on PlayStation Plus in order to get this platinum. All in all, this game wasn't too bad. There obviously were some collectible trophies you had to go out and find. The old God of Wars have these Challenge of the Gods challenge thingies you do after you beat the game, and I gotta say, Challenge of the Gods was fucking dreadful. I hated it. It was a pain in the ass, and it took me forever to get it done. But besides that and the speedrun trophy, it honestly was not too bad of a time, and got it done pretty quick. So if I were to place it anywhere on the tier list, I'd put it in Fun. It was still a fun time, and I had a good time with it. Honestly, the same can be said for God of War 2. It's pretty much the same gist. You complete the main story, get all collectibles. Once you beat the game, do the Challenge of the Titans, I believe. And that was about it. There's no speedrun trophy, thankfully, and I'd put it right on par with the original God of War as well. Put it in the fun tier as well. Then we move on to God of War 3 on the PS3. My favorite God of War, personally, mainly just because of, the fact that you finally get to kill all the Greek gods, basically just murder the entire pantheon. I had a blast from start to finish, and once again, trophies are pretty much the exact same as the other two. You gotta complete the game, get all the collectibles, beat the Challenge of the Gods at the end. I will say there is a difficulty trophy where you have to beat the game on hard, or Titan, I believe, which was quite a pain in the ass, I won't lie. I died quite a lot. Unpopular opinion, I prefer the old God of Wars. I do not like the new God of Wars whatsoever. I prefer, rageful, bloodlust Kratos compared to, the new ones. So if I would have to put God of War 3 in the great tier. And same goes for God of War 3 Remastered. I platinumed this game twice. That's how much I love it. One on the PS3 and then on the PS4. Now we move on to the Insomniac Spider-Man games, and this was actually my very first platinum on my old PlayStation profile, was Spider-Man PS4. I absolutely adore this game, and I've beaten it about 3 or 4 times now. I just love the story of Peter, having to fight his rogues gallery, then having to fight Doc Ock at the end, and the scene with Aunt May was genuinely amazing. There really was no hard trophies with this game. Basically just beat the game, find all the collectibles, some random miscellaneous trophies here and there. So honestly, I would put Spider-Man PS4 in the blast. I had a blast platinuming this game. Can't really say the same for Spider-Man Miles Morales. Even though the trophies list is basically the exact same, beat the game, find all collectibles. There is a New Game Plus trophy, which I absolutely hate. I hate New Game Plus trophies. Story-wise, I thought it was a step down from Spider-Man PS4. I honestly don't think Miles Morales is all that interesting in these Spider-Man games, and I thought the villain was very weak. But obviously the combat, swinging, everything there was still amazing, but I just thought it was a bit step down from Spider-Man PS4. So if I had to put it on a tier list, platinum-wise, put it in the fun tier. I didn't have, great time or a bad time. It was just quite in the middle. Now, Spider-Man 2, pretty much trophy list-wise, the exact same as the other two. Just beat the game, get all the collectibles, random miscellaneous ones here and there. Story-wise, this was a step down, again, from Spider-Man PS4, but I do think it was better than Miles Morales. The swinging was amazing, the combat was amazing. The fact that you had your little web wings, that was phenomenal. I had a great time flying around the city with that. Obviously, the black suit was awesome. I really loved Kraven in this game, but I thought Venom was very underutilized, and the game felt very rushed at the end. Platinum-wise, I'd put it in great tier. I really did have a great time with it. I didn't really have any problems whatsoever. Now moving on to the Arkham series, and Arkham Asylum, the very first Arkham game. Gotta admit, this game really hasn't aged all that well, with Arkham Knight being my favorite. It's definitely weird going back and playing Asylum with such clunky combat, and obviously the traversal is very poor. The trophies really aren't too bad with this. There's some random combat trophies. You have to beat the game, of course, and you know, the main problem with these Arkham games is you have to find all the Riddler trophies, which is a pain in the ass, I must say. But Arkham Asylum, Riddler trophy-wise, it really isn't that bad. There's not that many, only about 200 something or so. But the main problem with these games, besides the Riddler trophies, is the Riddler challenges, or the challenge maps, and you have to get all the medals on every single one, which is a pain in the ass, and I didn't really have too great of a time with this game. So if I had to put Arkham Asylum in the tier list, I'd probably put it in mediocre. It wasn't that much of a grind. I got it done quite quick, but it was still, I still didn't really have that good of a time with it. Voice crack. Now we move on to Arkham City. Trophy-wise, pretty much the exact same as Arkham Asylum. You gotta beat the game, get all the Riddler trophies, beat all the Riddler combat maps, which there are a lot. You have to get a lot of medals on this. Story-wise, I thought this game was much better than Arkham Asylum. Combat-wise, much better. Traversal-wise, much better. Finally, are out in a big city where you can grapple and fly around. You're not trapped in the confines of an asylum. I thought it was, this game, personally, this game is, I always go back and forth between Arkham Knight and City about which one's my favorite. I think Arkham Knight's my favorite, but City is damn near close. I will say, though, trophy-wise, this was more of a grind than Arkham Asylum, and the fact that you have to beat the game on New Game Plus, but not just that, you have to 100% New Game Plus again. You have to 100% the main game, and then you have to 100% New Game Plus as well, which I thought, which was a pain in the ass for me and took me quite a while. So if I had to put this on the tier list, I would definitely put it in the grind. It was definitely a grind. Now, Arkham Knight, which is my personal favorite Arkham game. Trophy list, pretty much these games all pretty much share the exact same trophy list. Just beat the story, get all the Riddler trophies, get all the medals and the Riddler maps, the miscellaneous combat and traversal ones as well, which weren't too bad. But the Riddler trophies and the combat medals were quite a pain in the ass. This is still my favorite Arkham game to date. I love Scarecrow in this game. Even though the Arkham Knight reveal was, you know, everyone knew it was coming. Everyone knew it was Jason Todd. I still really like this game, and, you know, it's kind of a shame when you play this game and then you go play Suicide Squad to see how much the Arkham-verse has fallen. All in all, if I were to put this on the tier list platinum-wise, I'd put it above Arkham Asylum and mediocre. It wasn't too grindy for me, at least, even though I'm pretty sure there's more Riddler trophies on this than Arkham City. But I personally just love this game the best. I don't understand the Batmobile hate, and the traversal in this game is the best out of all the games. Moving on to two games that I think are very, very underrated is the Lord of the Rings sort of Shadow of Mordor / war games. It kind of sucks because the studio that made these games just got shut down, and the Nemesis system in this game, which is an amazing system, got patented by Warner Brothers. So we're not going to see this system in any game until like 2030 something, which is a goddamn shame. But Shadow of Mordor, the first one, pretty basic trophy list. You just have to find all collectibles, beat the game, some miscellaneous ones where you have to, you know, recruit orcs and make them do certain stuff. I love the Nemesis system in this game, and I didn't really have too much trouble with it, but there were some trophies that were a fucking pain in the ass. I remember there was one trophy where we got to get a level 25 rune, I believe, and that took me forever because you have to do such specific task in order to get it, and it took me quite a while. Personally love this game to death, and if I had to put it on the tier list platinum wise, I put it in fun. I really did have a fun time with it. I'd say the same for Shadow of War as well, the sequel to this game. Story wise, I don't really think the story is too crazy for both of these games. It's just the Nemesis system that makes these games so much fun. I do really like Talion and Celebrimbor. I think the voice acting in this game is probably some of the best I've ever heard.
Write to your master and give him this message. I come for him!
I really like the stronghold aspect where you have to build your army, you have to add defenses or sort of upgrades to attack or defend a fortress. I thought that was really fun. Act 4 of this game, the Shadow Wars, where you have to defend or attack strongholds in order to fully beat the game. That was a pain in the ass. Other than that, trophy-wise, it's pretty much the exact same as Shadow War. You know, beat the game, find all the collectibles, do some miscellaneous tasks with recruiting or backstabbing orcs. I don't know, I still had a fun time with it, so I'd put it in fun tier as well. Moving on to my only fighting game platinum, and probably my favorite fighting game ever, Injustice 2. Where's Injustice 3 NetherRealm? I don't know. Let's stop making some Mortal Kombat for a while. The new one sucks. Platinum-wise, I will say this is probably my least favorite platinum experience I've ever had. This platinum took me about 3 or 4 months to get, just because of one specific trophy. Whereas Catwoman, you need to defeat Cheetah with a certain ability, but the only problem is this game had loot boxes, and you can only get that ability from loot boxes, or you had to grind out at least a couple thousand hours to play some Catwoman multiverse event to where you might get the ability. It was a pain in the ass. I remember I went to the beach with my family, my friend, and I was still trying to platinum the game. I was so dedicated that I literally brought my PlayStation Portal just to platinum it at the beach. And I did platinum it at the beach with this, thankfully, but I will say this is probably probably my longest platinum. It took me about 140 or so hours. It was a pain in the ass. I would not recommend it to anyone. So if I were to put this in the tier list platinum-wise, it's definitely in the not fun category. I did not have a good time with this whatsoever. Moving on to my favorite video game series. I know it's kind of rough to say nowadays with the current state of how it is, but Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare Remastered was my first Call of Duty platinum. And trophy-wise, well, pretty much with every single one of these CODs, you have to beat them on veteran, which, you know, is a pain in the ass with some of the games with how the enemies act. You have to find all the intel. The hardest trophy in this game, that was beating Mile High Club on veteran. That took me, I think that took me a whole day. I was so bad at it, I couldn't get the timing right. It took me forever, but I eventually got it done. Obviously, this is the Call of Duty that kind of kickstarted Call of Duty to where it is now. It is genuinely a great game. It's great. It kickstarted the Modern Warfare trilogy. I'll always have a soft spot for this game. It was probably, I think it was my first COD I've ever played. Platinum-wise, I'd probably put it in mediocre. It wasn't too fun. It wasn't too hard. It's just right in the middle. Now we move on to Modern Warfare 2 on the PS3. Not Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, but the PS3 one. It came out like 2009. I love this Call of Duty to death. Multiplayer-wise, it was fantastic. I loved Spec Ops. I loved the campaign. Ghost was my favorite character as a kid just because of how cool he looked. Trophy-wise, pretty much the same as every other COD. Beat the campaign on veteran, do some miscellaneous ones here and there, find all the intel. But with this one being the PS3 version, you had to get all 69 stars in Spec Ops, which took me quite a while. I had to bribe my roommate to play Spec Ops with me because there were some split screen missions that you need a partner for, and thankfully he helped me out. It took me around 20 hours or so. I think I'm going to put MW2 platinum wise in the fun tier. I did have a great, this is probably my favorite Call of Duty of all time. I love the Spec Ops. I loved playing that, and the campaign's probably my favorite out of all of them, so I had a fun time with this. Now Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered, I'll probably just put it in fun as well. It's pretty much the exact same game as MW2. There's just no multiplayer or Spec Ops. Most of the trophies are the same from the original, but there's some new ones here and there. I remember there was one trophy where you have to complete every mission without dying or reloading to a checkpoint, which was kind of a pain because there's no tracker on which mission you've died or reloaded from, so you just have to guess. I remember the first time it didn't count for me, so I had to go back and replay the campaign again, but I still love this game. It's MW2, just with better graphics. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, the last COD in the Modern Warfare trilogy. I loved the send-off to these characters, you know, Captain Price, Soap. I really liked Yuri. It felt so good to get through the entire campaign, finally kill Makarov. I think I was 11 years old when this game came out. That was, I've never felt so happy in my life. Trophy-wise, once again, pretty much the exact same thing. Beat the campaign on veteran, find the intel. There were some rough trophies where you had to get to, I believe, round 15 on every Spec Ops map. You had to level up all the way in Spec Ops to buy certain things from the buy machines. So this game, even though I really do love it, and I did have fun with it. It was a grind, and it did take me about 30 or so hours. It's definitely better than the new MW3, that's for sure. So if I had to put this anywhere on the tier list, I'd definitely be in the grind. But then I still love the game, just trophy-wise, it was a grind. Now here's a weird one. Black Ops 2, we're gonna have to put in the doesn't count tier. I didn't realize this game had an unobtainable trophy where you had to win 5 league matches after being placed, I believe. But I went back on this game to play the multiplayer again. COD was getting so stale and shit that I was like, I'm gonna reload Black Ops 2 and just try it out. I unfortunately joined a Nuketown lobby where there was a hacker who pretty much auto-popped all trophies for everybody in the lobby, I believe. I'm not sure. It happened to me. I just went in and they all just popped, except for a few. There was about 4 or 5 campaign trophies that didn't pop, so once I saw that, I was like, well, might as well just get them done. So I got those remaining missions done and got the platinum, but to me, that doesn't count. I don't count it as a platinum trophy just simply because there was an unobtainable one and a hacker pretty much just gave me most of the trophies. So that'll be in the doesn't count tier. Speaking of doesn't count, we're gonna put I don't know why I did these games, but the 3 My Name is Mayo games, they're definitely in the doesn't count tier. Literally, these are just clicker games. You just click, and then that's it. It's probably the easiest platinums of my life. Took me around 30 minutes for each game. Most people in the trophy community agree that these games don't count platinum-wise, so, and I'm with them. I don't count them whatsoever. Moving on to what I think is an underrated Call of Duty Ghosts. I'm a fan of this game. I will admit I do not like how this game ended on a cliffhanger, and we have still, gotten nothing from that. It's been about, 11 years or so. Just stop with the new Modern Warfare games. They're obviously not moving in the right direction. I'd be down for a Ghost too. I really like the Ghost team. There were some campaign missions I really loved. I won't lie, there were some shit ones. I didn't think the villain was all that good. Rorik, I thought he was very generic. This game had Riley, the dog. Literally, a dog. He's probably the best part of the game. I really did like the multiplayer, except, the maps were pretty shit, but I was 13 when this game came out. I didn't really care about any other opinions, I played it, I had fun with it. And I think Extinction is better than most COD zombie games. I love Extinction. I really hope it comes back someday. Trophy-wise, again, pretty much the exact same COD formula. Beat the game on veteran, find intel, do some miscellaneous ones here and there. There were some annoying Extinction trophies. The fact you had to beat the first map with the full squad. Again, this game is 11, 12 years old, and my friends don't really have it on PlayStation, so I somehow found a full lobby and got it done. Platinum-wise, really didn't have that bad of a time with it, so if I had to put it anywhere, I'd probably put it in fun tier as well. Moving on to Advanced Warfare, again, same shebang as every other COD game. I really liked this game when it came out, but going back and replaying, it's definitely not my cup of tea, especially, with Kevin Spacey being there, considering how weird that guy is. Platinum-wise, again, pretty much the same trophies. Beat the campaign on veteran, find all the intel, some miscellaneous ones here and there. There were some really annoying ones. The fact that you had to get all the way to the riot map on Spec Ops, that took me forever. I'm just not a fan of the exo movement in this game. I didn't really have that too good of a time with it. I wouldn't say it wasn't not fun or a grind. It was still serviceable, so if I had to put it anywhere, I'd put it mediocre. Now we arrive at probably grindiest COD game ever. Call of Duty Black Ops 3. This platinum took me about 90 or so hours. I would not recommend anybody do this whatsoever. This has the worst campaign besides MW3, the new one. The campaign trophies in this game were abysmal. The fact you had to beat it on realism was just a pain in its ass by itself. I had to do it with one of my friends. Ethan, if you're watching, I appreciate you, man. Not only do you have to beat it on realism, you have to get a trophy called Personal Decorator. That took me forever. I remember staying up till like 5 in the morning just to get the last medal for that. I just would not recommend. Multiplayer and zombie wise, I love the multiplayer. And zombies, I don't even really need to say it's got the best zombies out of any Call of Duty game ever. I would not recommend anybody go for this platinum, and if I had to put it anywhere on the tier list, it would be not fun. Infinite Warfare, I don't understand the hate for this game. I really don't. This has one of the best campaigns in COD. Genuinely, might be top 5. I love the characters. I love Reyes. I love the robot Ethan. It's such a unique game, too. I personally love it. Multiplayer, though, it was hit or miss. I had some good times on it, but also some really shitty moments. And Zombies in Spaceland. Zombies in Spaceland might be a top 5 zombies map of all time. I love that map to death. Trophy-wise, once again, same as all the other CODs. Beat it on veteran. We'll say beating Zombies in Spaceland. I've beaten it multiple times, but for some reason, when I was trying to platinum this, I just couldn't do it. It took me forever to beat Zombies in Spaceland, because that's one of the trophies is you have to beat the Easter egg. And the boss fight in this map is a fucking pain in the ass. It is hard. But I eventually beat it, and honestly, I had a great time platinuming this game. So if I had to put it anywhere on the tier list, I'd definitely put it in great tier for sure. Now moving on to Call of Duty World War II, one of my least favorite Call of Duties ever. I'm not a fan of the campaign, I'm not a fan of the multiplayer, and I'm especially not a fan of the zombies. It's one of my least favorite zombies of all time. Once again, same shtick as all the other CODs, beat it on veteran, find all the collectibles. There were some really annoying ones where you have to do like these special acts where you have to either save soldiers. If you missed one, you had to like restart the mission or whatnot. It was a pain. What also was a pain is the fact that I had to not only beat the zombies Easter egg once, but twice, because there's easy version and a hard version. The hard version took me hours, man. It was a pain in the ass. I'm just not a fan of this game, and while the platinum wasn't too bad, I I just don't like this game. I put it in not fun as well. Moving on to Call of Duty Black Ops 4, which doesn't have a campaign for some unknown reason. Pretty much the only trophies in this is multiplayer, zombies, and blackout. But I really did like the multiplayer. Obviously, there's multiplayer trophies. I've loved the zombies. I don't get the BO4 zombies hate. Ton of zombies trophies, and blackout was just kind of meh. Trophy-wise, this really isn't too bad. Some of the zombies trophies are annoying. For new players, I can understand why they wouldn't want to do it, but I'm a hardcore zombies player, so it doesn't bother me. But the blackout trophies took me forever. The fact that you had to unlock all the operators, the special operators like Woods and Reznov, it took me hours. It took me about 100 hours to platinum, and I would not recommend anybody do it. Even though I think Black Ops 4 is very underrated, it doesn't really deserve the hate. I would definitely put it in grind tier. I still had fun with it, but wouldn't recommend. Now moving on to one of my favorite Call of Duties. I don't get the hate for this game either. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. They decided, oh yeah, let's put the campaign back. They rebooted the Modern Warfare timeline. I really liked the campaign. Multiplayer at launch was not fun, but it eventually got a lot better. I think Spec Ops in this game is dog shit. But this game introduced Warzone, which, if you're watching, you've played Warzone. Everybody's played Warzone. I absolutely loved Warzone. Trophy-wise, probably one of the shortest COD platinums. There's not that many trophies, and it didn't really take me all that long. So if I had to put it in the tier list, I'd probably put it in mediocre. I didn't really have a fun time with it, but it wasn't too bad. Now moving on to Modern Warfare 2, 2022. It was great seeing Ghost, Soap, Price, and Gaz all interact with each other, but I didn't think the campaign was all that great. Multiplayer is probably one of the worst in the franchise. Warzone 2 killed Warzone, and Spec Ops in this game sucks ass. I really liked this game when it came out, but going back and replaying it is not fun. But trophy-wise, it wasn't too bad. Again, beat the campaign on Veteran. There are some really weird trophies in this game, and there are some really easy trophies in this game, but the fact you have to 3-star, I believe it's 3 Spec Ops missions, and Spec Ops is not single player in this game, and it's 2025, and it took me forever to find lobbies just to play with people. That was a pain in the ass. It took me about 20 hours or so. I didn't really have too much fun with it, but it wasn't that bad, so I'd put it at the bottom of mediocre. Now moving on to Modern Warfare 3 to 2023. I don't know. It gets confusing. Now, you guys might be saying, but Michael, there is no platinum trophy for this game. Well, there is for the PS4 version, not the PS5 version. So I went back and played the PS4 version just to get the platinum, because why not? This probably has one of the worst campaigns besides World War II. The open combat missions were a pain in the ass, and the trophy where you have to find every single crate and every single item was absolutely a grind, and I didn't really like it. Obviously, you gotta beat on Veteran. I was a fan of Modern Warfare Zombies when it came out. Some of the Modern Warfare Zombies trophies are a pain in the ass. The fact you need to beat Orcus, I believe that's his name, with the 6-man squad. I literally just had to type in chat just to get people to go with me, and I eventually got him. Thanks to all those people. But even though, Price, Soap, Ghost, Gaz are all in this game, I love seeing them interact with each other, but God, the story just sucked. The open combat missions sucked. I didn't think Makarov was that good of a villain at all in this game. Soap dies in the most anticlimactic way ever, and then the game just ends. It's like a 3-hour campaign. It's a waste of money. Platinum-wise, I'd definitely put it in grind tier. The fact you need to find all the stuff in the open combat missions. You have to kill 50,000 zombies in MWZ. Good luck with that. I didn't have that too good of a time with this, but, I eventually got it. It took me around 20 or so hours. Now we move on to Black Ops 6, and again, there is no platinum trophy for this on the PS5 version, so I had to do the PS4 version. I had a blast doing this platinum. This is probably the easiest campaign on Veteran. You get trophies, I believe, for just beating the missions, which is nice. Gives you a nice dopamine hit. This takes place after Black Ops Cold War, but then after the Black Ops 2 flashback missions. I really liked Marshall. It's good seeing Woods again. There's a weird-ass zombies mission. I don't know, the campaign was a bit weird, but I had fun with it. I love the multiplayer in this game. I love the zombies. It took me around 18 hours or so to platinum. I'd honestly put it in the great tier. I've had a good time with it. No problems whatsoever. Now we move on to Minecraft. Straight up, just gonna put it in the fun tier. It's Minecraft. The trophies are not hard whatsoever. It's simple stuff like craft certain items, kill certain mobs, find the end portal, kill the end dragon. It's a super easy platinum. The only trophy that's it's not really difficult, it's just time consuming, is you have to play 100 in-game days, so that took a while. But Minecraft, it's such an easy platinum, and I would recommend anybody do it. Now moving on to one of my favorite games of all time, Skyrim. I absolutely love this game. If everybody's played Skyrim, there's really no reason to explain it. Trophy-wise, there were some really annoying trophies. The fact that you had to get a bounty of, I believe, 1,000 gold in all 9 realms, that took a while. You had to find all the Daedric artifacts, you know, pick 50 locks, read 50 skill books. It was definitely a bit of a grind, but I love this game so much that I had a fun time with it. I don't know how old I'll be when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, but hey, Skyrim will always be there. It's probably going to be released on PS6 or whatever the next PlayStation is, because they just can't stop releasing this game. I'd put Skyrim in the fun tier. Moving on to my favorite From Software game, Sekiro. I love this game. First played it, I didn't care about the platinum. I just was playing it, having a good time with it. This is one of those games where it's difficult to pick up but easy to master. This was my first From Software game, and once you get the hang of the combat, this is probably one of the easiest From Software games ever. There were some annoying trophies, like the fact you had to get every single ending, but the combat is just so good that I'm gonna put Sekiro in the blast. I had a blast with it. I had such a good time going back and platinuming it, and I'm not joking. I think I've beaten this game around 20 times, and if anyone wants to play a From Software game and they don't know which one to get into, I would recommend this one for sure. Moving on to the Jak and Daxter series. Jak and Daxter 1. Jak and Daxter, besides Ratchet and Clank and God of War, is, to me at least, one of the most recognizable PlayStation mascots ever. I absolutely love Jak and Daxter, and the first game I would put in the mediocre tier. Trophy-wise, it really isn't that bad, but you have to find, I believe, 112 scout flies, 2,000 precursor orbs, and 101 power cells. It's definitely a collect-a-thon game, even though that technically, I mean, it is a grind fest. I had a great time with this game. I love it. Naughty Dog, are you going to do something with the franchise? Please at least remaster it or something. Then never mind, I'm going to put it in grind tier. It does take a while to get everything in the game, but it is very rewarding at the end, and I love Jak, I love Dexter. I do hate that in this first game Jak can't talk, but you know, it is what it is. Now moving on to Jak 2. Oh man, I'm straight up just gonna put this platinum wise, not fun. I love Jak 2. It's probably my favorite Jak and Daxter game, but god damn, this game is fucking hard. It definitely made the platinum experience a pain, just because of the difficulty in this game. The checkpoints are horrific. Obviously, you need to collect all the precursor orbs again. It's another collect-a-thon, but I mean, I love this game to death, but platinum-wise, that just was not fun. Moving on to Jak 3. Well, it's not as bad as Jak 2. I'm going to be putting it as not fun as well. This is probably my least favorite Jak game out of the original trilogy. You have to find all the precursor orbs again, which is a pain in the ass. You got to get 250 metalhead skulls again, which I think Jak 2 had as well. Again, another collect-a-thon, and I think this has the weakest story and characters out of the original trilogy. I still think it's a good game, but platinum-wise, it's just, I didn't have that good of a time. Now moving on to the worst Jak and Daxter game. Jak and Daxter, I think The Lost Frontier is what it's called. This was originally released on PSP, and it was not made by Naughty Dog. I thought the combat sucked. I thought the story sucked. I think the Jak voice actor got replaced for this game, which I didn't like whatsoever.
You're on a mission to find more ego and stop that from happening. I'm gonna kill Praxis.
But again, my qualms aside with the game, trophy-wise, you didn't have to get all the precursor orbs in this game, thankfully. I believe it was only around 100 or so. So there were some really annoying trophies in this game where, I think, I'm trying to remember correctly, but around each island, because there's a lot of flying in this game, you had to find these crystals and return it in time, and that was a pain in the ass. I hate this game. And I didn't really have a good time platinum wise, so I would put it in not fun as well. And moving on to Daxter, another PSP Jak and Daxter-esque game. I remember playing this on the PSP when I was a kid and not really liking it. Platinum wise, I didn't really have too bad of a time. I pretty much skipped all the cutscenes, so I don't remember anything from the story whatsoever. I do know it takes place, I think, during Jak 2, which is kind of cool. I will say you had to collect 500 precursor orbs, which was a pain in the ass. There was something where you had to play dream mini games, which sucked. I didn't like those at all. There was like bug arena matches you had to do. I don't know, it was a weird game. I'm not really too big of a fan of this game, but platinum trophy wise, I definitely put it in mediocre. It wasn't too bad, but wasn't too good. Moving on to probably one of my favorite horror games, Dead Space, the remake. I had a good time with this platinum. Obviously, really the only rough trophies were completing the game with only the plasma cutter. You had to beat it on the hardest difficulty. And then you had to do another playthrough to get the alternate ending, which I kind of disliked. I don't really like doing that. But I love Isaac Clarke. I love the atmosphere of the Ishimura. I love the necromorphs. You had to get 30 kills with each weapon, which was pretty easy. There's some collectibles as well. I love all the weapons. I love the voice acting. I love this game. All in all, though, I had a fun time with this game, so I definitely put it in the fun tier. Marvel Rivals, man, I love this game. I have put at least around 130 hours into this game. I absolutely love it. For those that don't know, this is pretty much just Overwatch, but with Marvel characters, and it's just somehow better than Overwatch, and I've been playing this game non-stop. Trophy-wise, it's pretty much the same to Overwatch, where you have to get character-specific trophies, like get 4 kills with Thor's ult, get like 4 kills with Jeff's ult. The Platinum didn't take me too long, it took me around 40 hours or so, just because mainly I was just playing in my spare time for fun. But I had a great time with this Platinum, so I put it in great tier. Moving on to my favorite PlayStation franchise, Ratchet and Clank. Now, the first Ratchet and Clank is very outdated, in my opinion. I love Ratchet, I love Clank, but it is weird going back to the first game because the Ratchet voice actor is different from all the other ones. There's no strafing in this game, which makes fighting very annoying. But with every Ratchet and Clank game, you have to, of course, beat the game, find every gold bolt, buy the Rhino, obtain a certain amount of bolts, which is the currency in the game. I will say, most of these Ratchet and Clank games will go in the fun tier, but the first Ratchet and Clank, I'm definitely going to put in mediocre, just because of the fact you have to get 1 million bolts, and in this game, there's no bolt multiplier or New Game Plus like all the other games, so you had to do a glitch where you had to get on one of the racetracks and use the taunter, and you just had to sit there AFK for around 8-12 hours just to get 1 million bolts, so that was a pain in the ass. Still really like the first Ratchet and Clank, but platinum-wise, definitely mediocre. But all the rest of the Ratchet and Clanks that I platinum, Ratchet 2, Ratchet 3, Ratchet Deadlocked, Ratchet and Clank Size Matters, Ratchet and Clank A Crack in Time, Ratchet and Clank Into the Nexus, the reboot Ratchet and Clank, and then Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart are all going to go into fun tier. They all pretty much are the same. Pretty much beat the game, find all the gold bolts, obtain a certain amount of bolts, upgrade all the weapons to the max level. I love these games. They never really get old, but most of them are the same trophy-wise, so I think I'm just going to put them all in fun. I didn't have a bad time with any of them besides the original. Now, I'm going to put these two in the same, because they're kind of the same, but Astro's Playroom and Astro Bot are both going to go into Blast. For those that don't know, Astro's Playroom, I believe, is installed on every PS5, and it's one of the easiest platinums you'll ever get. I love Astro, and I love that he's kind of becoming the new PlayStation mascot. Trophy-wise, these games are very, very easy. You just have to find all the collectibles, rescue all the bots, beat the game. Just fun. There's not much more to say for these games. They're just fun, and I would recommend them any day to anyone that wants to find a fun platformer to play. And we move on to, again, another one of my favorite PlayStation franchises, Uncharted. I love Nathan Drake. I love Sully, I love Elena, I love all the characters in this game. Thank you, Naughty Dog, for making a good franchise. Platinum-wise, when it comes to game series, they're pretty much all the same. Beat the game on the hardest difficulty, find all the treasures in the game, some miscellaneous combat trophies here and there. So if I had to put them on the tier list, Uncharted 1 is definitely going to go to mediocre. It's definitely the most outdated. You can definitely feel it going back and playing it. Uncharted 2 is one of my favorite games of all time, and I definitely had a much more fun experience than with the original, so I would put that in fun as well. It's definitely a step up from the original Uncharted. Uncharted 3, while I believe is a bit of a downgrade from Uncharted 2, I still had fun with the platinum nonetheless. So I put that in fun as well. Uncharted 4, my favorite Uncharted. Trophy-wise was a bit more annoying than all the other ones, just because there was way more combat trophies, I believe, and there was multiplayer trophies, which I hated. But I just love this game, and I didn't have any problems platinuming whatsoever, so I put it in great tier. I will say there was a speedrun trophy that I just refused to do and did the glitch to get the trophy, because I'm just not going to speedrun that. Uncharted The Lost Legacy is definitely my least favorite Uncharted for sure. It's definitely better than Uncharted 1, but trophy-wise, it's going to go in the mediocre tier as well. There's one trophy in this game where I think you can't shoot a gun until all the way up till chapter 5, and I hated that trophy. That trophy was a pain in the ass for sure. Uncharted Legacy of Thieves is just a bundle of Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy put together, and if you've platinum Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy, a bunch of the trophies auto pop except for a few. This platinum took me around 2 hours or so just because of all the trophies auto popping. I don't know, it wasn't a grind, it wasn't fun, just because I had to obtain about 3 or 4 trophies. So I'll just put it in great, just because I didn't have to do all that hard work again. And now on to my last platinum, Space Marine 2 Warhammer. This game got me into Warhammer 40k. I knew what it was before I played it, but after playing it, I've never been so invested in a universe since Star Wars, and Star Wars sucks ass now, so hey, gotta find a new universe. But I love Lieutenant Titus. I loved his secret level episode. I love how this game is co-op. I played it a bunch with my brother and one of my other friends. There were some annoying trophies, like you had to tag every certain enemy in the game. That took a while. One of the trophies, you had to kill 41,000 enemies, which was definitely a grind. I think that's the reason this platinum took so long, is just because of that one trophy. You had to find all data slates, which sucked. As much as I love this game, I'm definitely going to have to put it in grind tier. It did take quite a while. But there you go. That's my platinum tier list. obviously I'm working on a few more platinums as well. I'm working on getting the remaining old school God of Wars, and then I got to get the new ones, even though I don't like those games. Maybe I'll make a video on why I don't like those games, I'm not sure. But if you want to see more like platinum stuff, like if you want to actually see me go out and platinum games, I'd be down to make videos on that. I still need to platinum Black Ops 1 and World at War, but I can't do that without help, so who knows, if this video gets, a bunch of views and people want to help me out, hey, I'd greatly appreciate it. Let me know what you guys think of the tier list down below, and yeah, I'll talk to you guys in probably another 3 months. I don't know, I guess we'll see.